Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kale and we are going to dive into a first quarter moon tarot reading today. So just to start it off, in case you're new, welcome. I actually sit in ceremony at home and write down the messages that come through. So right now, today, I will show you the cards that came through as well as the messages that I wrote down. And I actually use Tarot of the Witch's Garden by Sasha and Nataša Ilínčíć. Highly recommend that tarot deck. Love it. And okay, let's dive in. So currently, today is February 23rd, 2026, where I am. The moon is currently in Taurus. At about 4:21-ish a.m. tomorrow morning, the moon's going to make its way into Gemini and be at that pinnacle of the first quarter moon. All right, and so as Jenny from Moon Magic Tarot tells us, this is a moment to look ahead to the future, to plan accordingly. All right, this is also a moment that gives us an opportunity to understand a situation and perspectives from all sides, from multiple angles. All right, so we're gonna dive into actually a sign of things to come spread. And look at what we're sitting here, what we're sitting here with in this moment, and what may be useful for you as a viewer to contemplate, to be aware of, to chew on, to look at, to plan-ish according to this time. All right, so we're gonna dive in here right away with the first card, okay? And the first question of this sign of things to come spread, the first question that's asked is, what energy surrounds me? And I'm just gonna say, when that question first came through, immediately I got lilacs, laughter, and love. So for whoever that's for, if that means anything to you, that's what like immediately came through as a message. And so what we have is the first card here is Two of Wands in reverse. All right, we've got the Two of Wands in reverse. All right, and the Two of Wands is the card of insight. Okay, and so this card represents an energy of deliberation and contemplation. All right, it's wanting to bring in your desire with careful consideration. Okay, it's saying you see the goal and you are in the process of aligning your desired future with the present reality. Okay, this is also signaling to you that Spirit is aiding you in the timing of bringing this to fruition. Now, the fact that we have it in reverse, okay, that is suggesting that perhaps you might be having a hard time visioning this or imagining it coming to fruition, or just imagine it in general. You may be experiencing exhaustion or apathy toward the path, towards your desired path, or towards the situation at hand. And some of you may be feeling that it just doesn't feel like it's worth the bother of doing whatever maybe needs to be done, or whatever kind of inclinations you have. It just doesn't feel worth it. Okay, and so the message here is that it is worth it. Okay, it is worth it. This is about steadily feeding your dream, steadily feeding this vision. Okay, it's like tending to a fire, right? It's a slow burn, it's a constant process. Okay, this is about giving that dream, that desire, what you're bringing in. It's about giving it the attention it deserves. Okay, let's turn here. All right, so the question to ask is, Sasha writes, the question to ask to write the reversal is, what is one small step you can take? Okay, what is a way that you can honor the nudge that you might be experiencing? Okay, perhaps it's reaching out to somebody for collaboration, right? Maybe there's a partnership there. That would be the next step to move something along. Perhaps it's simply an accountability partner. You know, maybe it's letting a friend know, hey, like, I'm struggling with this. Can you be my check-in buddy? Can to help me stay on track here? You know, it's seeing the long vision. It's not letting go of the long vision. Okay, like taking a look at, especially when it's like, oh, is it really worth it, and this and that, and really not getting too stuck in like the energy of that, or that energy of like, oh, but like right now, etc., etc. But it's like, okay, well, but where if you're starting now and setting the stage for the next 6 months, next 12 months, you know, we've just started that new 36-year path, right? So no rush, but like we're taking the steps, and we have energy supporting us in that, and we have the guides supporting us in that, right? And so it's staying the course, you know. It's that slow and steady action, tending that fire, okay? Remembering who you are, remembering what you're here for, why you're here, why this lights you up in the first place, you know, not letting go of that. You know, if a question that came is, if this was your destiny, if you knew for sure that this dream, this vision, if this thing was your destiny, how might you more fully embrace it at this time? What would that mean? You know, what does it mean for you to open your arms and embrace this and give it a hug? Okay, what would that next natural step be? Okay, and just remembering again, like, your why, your motivation behind it. Why do you want this? All right. Certainly to not give up on that. Okay, so that's what we've got for our Two of Wands in reverse. Okay, our second card here is what hidden truth is now revealed. Okay, and we got King of Wands in reverse, another reversal. Okay, King of Wands in reverse. King of Wands, I'm sorry, King of Swords. Hello. In that wand energy, I guess. King of Swords in reverse. I'm so sorry. This is the card of the intellect, okay? This is the card of intellect, all right? The little poem at the beginning of this, Sasha writes, "To be clear, you can ask for anything, of heirs kind and ruling king," okay? Like, this is that vision, this is that desire, okay? The King of Swords represents the energy that forms words and creates the structure of the mind. This is a king of decisions, a master planner, sees the whole picture, understands everything that is required, okay? And this is, yes. Okay, this is a channel for clarity, a master of discernment, all right? You're getting those nudges. There's you know, deep down. Sasha writes, "If the queen is the wind that blows, the king is the windmill who captures its power and channels it into energy." All right. And so the fact that this is in reverse, the question here, right? So what hidden truth is being revealed? Like, that actually is like the question that we asked in the beginning. What hidden truth is being revealed? That is the answer. Sasha suggests to write the reversal. We ask the question, what do I know? Right? What do I know? You know, right? This is, again, back to our Two of Wands, like taking that next step, following that nudge. You know, this is a moment to really harness and embody that King of Swords energy. All right, that makes you the master planner. That makes you the king of decisions, the channel for clarity. That means you understand everything and what is required for this vision, for this dream, for what is seeking to emerge through you. Okay. The further messages here: trust your thoughts and what you know. This is about embracing yourself as that King of Swords, as I said, believing in yourself, believing in your thoughts, your vision, your dreams, okay? Taking action on the next natural step. I guess I just said that. You're the key here. That's the answer. What truth is being revealed? Well, you are the truth here. You. Ask yourself, what do I know? Allow yourself to be honest. You don't have to fear the answer. You're okay. All right. You can eliminate the doubt. You are clear. All right, that's what we've got. I think that's it for that was our message here for the King of Swords in reverse. All right, number 3. The question asks, what adjustments can I make? All right, what adjustments can I make? And we've got the Moon in reverse. I love this. Now we're getting into the good stuff. I mean, it's been good, I'm just saying. So this is the card of emergence. Amazing. All right. So just to share this here, Sasha writes in kind of the intro in the companion guide. She says, along the witch's journey in the tarot deck, the moon comes in shortly after the fool is freed from the devil and tower moments. All right, so the fool is, as Sasha writes, the active intelligence and animating principle of the witch, right, of the journeyer. And so my translation for that is like, the fool represents the soul that animates you, right? The fool is your soul. The soul is expressing through you in this human form. Okay, so again, the moon comes in shortly after you are freed from very challenging moments, in other words. All right. She writes in her poem, bewitched moonlight, wolves howl and bark, creeping shadows, yawing dark, bringing forth new stories told, embrace the unknown, let paths unfold. All right, so again, what adjustments can I make? Here we go. The fact that this is in reverse, this is suggesting that you are repressing some primal urges, okay? That it suggests being uncomfortable with one's own power and magic, and it also represents being unable to integrate inner duality, all right? And just to take a step into what that might mean in terms of being unable to integrate inner duality, what that means to me is a kind of an inability or a struggle holding tension, holding nuance, holding opposites, doing like that tension, that difficulty is creating inner discord, stress, anxiety, doubt. The question here is, how can I embrace all sides of myself? And again, we go back to seeing all sides of a situation, right? So how can I embrace all sides of myself? It might be suggesting here that you have a hard time allowing yourself to move in certain directions or to allow certain aspects of yourself out, because it comes into conflict with other things about yourself, or other ways of being, other projections that have been out there. It's different from how people know you, right? And so there's this struggle to allow it, or maybe you have this judgment around it, and it comes into conflict with that, right? And then there's this struggle with this integrating this inner duality. All right. And so again, the question is, okay, well, the question that Sasha asks is, what wants to emerge through me? That's how one would write the reversal. So again, what adjustments can I make? Allowing the path to unfold, allowing previously hidden or ashamed aspects of self to come out, right? I mean, and I can, as a personal example, I mean, just the journey for me to actually step forward and do tarot readings, that was a journey. that was a journey, definitely. There was a lot of stuff to release around that and to heal around that. It ties back a little bit to their previous reading around sometimes religious confines and certain teachings and different aspects of sin and fear that comes into place there. So it could be diving into some of that stuff and seeing really kind of what's causing this inner tension. Another aspect of what adjustments can you make, releasing yourself, right? No more holding back, exploring, allowing yourself to explore those curiosities that maybe you've been previously afraid of, okay? Healing some of those thoughts, as we talked about in the previous reading, healing some of those old thoughts, in general, related to kind of freedom and captivity, but also related to perhaps this notion of sin and shame and judgment, right? All of these things could be influencing this potential repression or certain aspects of fear. All right. Let me see if there's another. Nope, that was a little bit. So the last thing I want to read here that Sasha actually writes is, there is no interference between the highest and lowest aspects of the soul, just perfect communion. That is the embracing of all. That is the embracing of totality. That is the wholeness. That is the integration. Not holding certain aspects or parts of yourself in judgment. Paul Selig, he's a channeler who like one of the messages, or one of the things that he has often said is, or a message that came through was, you cannot stand in the light while holding another in darkness. And I think there's a reality that is true for ourselves. Like, we cannot fully stand in the light if we're holding aspects of ourself in the dark, right? And so it's doing that work, you know, and some call that shadow work is an aspect of that. And really, for me, it's just the complete and whole total healing, right? Healing of all aspects of self. I'm a huge fan of IFS, of internal family systems work, parts work. I love that. You know, there's many parts of us, right? And every part has a role. And those parts get burdened as we can survive and live and go through things. And there's messages, and there's protectors and firefighters, and you know, all these different aspects. And you know, it really is about going into that healing and really being able to sit with ourselves in all aspects of ourselves, and release that judgment, to listen to it. What is it wanting? What is it asking permission for? You know, how does it want to be held and seen and known and felt and experienced? You know, and so that's our work, right? Is to parent ourselves in those ways with every aspect of ourself, right? Who's in the room, you know, and who's speaking, who has that thought, you know, and really getting curious about that. So this, to me, there's a lot of healing opportunity here, a lot of healing opportunity here with whatever is wanting to emerge through you at this time. All right, and Sasha writes, once we become familiar with what terrifies us, we can integrate it into our life. And that this is the card of prophecy and dreams unfolding into reality. So yeah, this is befriending the fear. This is befriending the fear, right? And allowing that inner alchemy to take place, and transforming it and transmuting that fear into light, transmuting it into light, and letting ourselves shine. So beautiful. I love that. I love it so much. Just good stuff here. All right. So number 4 asks us, how can I indulge? Okay, how can I indulge? And we get our first upright of the spread today. We've got King of Cups. All right, and I love the timing of this specific moment being the first upright card. Okay, it's, to me, this is perfect timing. All right, and you'll see why here. Okay, so the question is, you know, how can I indulge? And so the King of Cups is the artist card. Okay, Sasha writes, sorry, there's somebody coming. You might hear a little extra music in the background. It's all right. Here we are. So Sasha writes, to sit upon a coral throne, one should strike a balanced tone. For wise ones follow fortune's rules, and access secret daemon tools. Read that one more time. To sit upon a coral throne, one should strike a balanced tone. For wise one follows fortune's rules, and access secret daemon tools. Wise ones. What struck me here was literally that it says one should strike a balance. So our question is, how can I indulge? And then Sasha writes in there, one should strike a balanced tone. And what I love about that, because at first I was like, strike a balance, how can I indulge? And what came through is that, like, indulging is the balance. In this particular case, with what we're talking about today, indulging is the balance. Because if you've been holding back, if you've been repressing out of fear, out of shame or punishment, that repression has created an imbalance, okay? And so you haven't been free to be yourself, all right? And to explore those aspects. And so to be able to come into balance, it's about indulging, it's about exploring, it's about getting curious and moving into that, and allowing yourself to go into that space, into the unknown in that way with yourself, is what is going to bring you back into balance, okay? And so this King of Cups here is also about the ability to weather the storm, all right? And so, you know, what came through in addition to that, after reading the ability to weather the storm, was, you can do this, right? You can handle what comes. It can be scary, right? Like, it can be scary of, like, you know, what are going to be the consequences of this, you know, like that fear that, like, what's the risk, what, you know, like, you're going to handle it. Whatever comes from it, you can handle it. You can weather the storm. All right. The King of Cups controls by not controlling. Okay. essentially by allowing. All right, so by allowing, all is accomplished and achieved. Simply allowing, letting it come out. All right, like that is the best way to let go of that control, is going to allow things to move accordingly. All right, the King of Cups sustains the ups and downs. He's the artist who can see his visions through to the end. All right, like in our previous cards. Okay, we're taking that step, we're not giving up. All right, we're allowing ourselves to experience it. The King of Cups harnesses emotions instead of being controlled by them, and he responds to the world from an oceanic depth of feeling. All right, like deep feeler over here. Probably a lot of you watching are deep feelers, right? And that can be scary sometimes. It can feel really scary, and it's like it's the blessing and the curse, right? It's the beauty of us. All right, like we feel and everything, and we get to respond to the world in that way, and it makes it really challenging and painful a lot of the time, most of the time, if not all of the time. And like the depth of the joy that we can tap into and feel and experience, and that light and that love, you know, it's the full spectrum, right? So we can harness that. And I wanted to note just the upright notes that Sasha makes, specifically: artistic genius, dependable and caring, turn your attention to creative projects you can master, celebrate all aspects of the emotional spectrum, and deep dark waters give way to sunlight and water. Deep dark waters. Yeah. Sunlight and water. Does that mean? I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I'm not going to worry about it. We're giving way. We're giving way. And so essentially what I took from that is that fear, guilt, and shame gives way to laughter, fun, and joy. All right. What was hidden in shame now gets to breathe and be celebrated in the light. Yep. We're standing in the light. Okay. So you can go for it. You can embrace it with open arms. And I did have a feeling that there are some of you watching that for some of you, this might be about, you know, kind of like witchy stuff and tarot stuff and things that maybe from other spiritual paradigms were perhaps not allowed or feared or different things like that. So some of you might be experiencing that. And I had an impression that maybe for others of you, this may be more about sexuality or gender. And so, you know, and if it's something else entirely, wonderful. And for some of you, it may be some of those things I've just mentioned. So I love you. I am embracing you. You can do it. I believe in you. All right, King of Cups, our only upright for the spread. Now we move into our last card. All right, fifth and final question asks, here we go, get ready. How should I protect myself? Kind of interesting given how it all went, that, like, you know, that's what comes up here at the end. How should I protect myself? And we get Tower in reverse. And you may remember I just had said that the moon comes shortly after the devil and tower moments. All right, like some big challenges here. And here we are with the tower. You're not escaping it. You are not escaping it. The Tower in reverse. So the tower is the card of release. Pretty darn fitting with what we're talking about. No more repression, no more holding back, letting go, letting things emerge. This is the card of release. Nataša, or good grief, I keep doing that. Sasha writes, in the Tower, the Fool releases all attachments and control over the uncontrollable. Boom! What did our King of Cups just tell us? Our King of Cups controlling by not controlling, right? Here we are. What I felt here is, okay, so there's a sense, it's what we've been talking about, right? There's a sense here of being scared or afraid to indulge and to be yourself, you know, and possibly that maybe like gut-wrenching fear, or that knot in your stomach when you think about letting yourself really be seen and stepping out into that and exposed, so to speak. I mean, it's very vulnerable. You know, that fear, it's that control. It's not being able to control, right? It's like we want to be protected. We're afraid of what's going to happen. We don't know what the consequences are going to be. We don't know what others are going to be thinking about us, right? And it just kind of, and we hold it in. We're releasing that. That's what we're going to be moving through at this time. And it may not be probably not going to be like this quick thing, but it could be, depending. It could be depending on where you are in your process. But maybe that's some of these next moments here, as you, again, looking ahead, looking at the future, right? Looking at things from multiple angles, like, okay, how are you going to move forward through this? Okay. And so again, we see that the question is, how should I protect myself? And the protection is in the release here. Okay. Sasha writes, thunder, lightning, rolling storm. Nope, I'm saving that to the end. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Reset, pause. Okay. This card is about being terrified of change. All right, this is a refusal to face facts, hiding your head in the sand to avoid confrontation, perhaps. There's a lot of fear that is related to this. All right. And to write the reversal, Sasha suggests the question, what am I holding back from? We've just talked a lot about that. All right. And right? Remember our King of Swords in reversal. You were the answer, right? And so going back to what I said around the protection is in the release, right? Again, with that letting go, letting things naturally organize around that, there's protection in that. There's protection in allowing, in being ourselves. Like, yes, it can be scary. Yes, we can face judgments from others. And it also is allowing more love and light to come through. It allows people to come into our experiences that are going to share that love with us, right? It allows so much more love and warmth and light in, right? And that then becomes the protection. So it's not necessarily without pain, and it doesn't mean that there won't be challenges or strong challenges along the way. And it's the destiny, it's the path. It's the path that you're walking. Okay. So again, there's safety in the release. There's safety in that letting go. Okay. So this card reflects unexpected destruction and upheaval. But the secret of the card is emancipation. It's freedom. It's the freedom on the other side. All right. So this can also represent clearing the space, letting go of the old way of being, ending the cycle. What's no longer useful is being swept away. Life rearranges as the soul extends healing to every corner of your life, every corner of the witch's life, right? Relationships may fall away, habits breaking, real world changes here. Okay, this is a metamorphosis, and that change is uncomfortable. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, this is about the soul evolving in alignment with the authentic high priestess self. That's what Sasha writes. The soul evolves in alignment with the authentic high priestess self. Again, this is your destiny. This is who you are. How can you open up your arms? How can you embrace that? How can you give yourself that hug? How can you embrace and love those parts? Okay? Because now is the time. Now is the time for that journey to go to the next step. All right. Now I'm going to read the poem to close us out here with the spread. Thunder, lightning, rolling storm, embrace the tower to transform. Let go, it's safe, take the hit. What was clung to never fit. I love that. It makes me want to cry. I love that. Yeah. It didn't fit you. It didn't fit you before. All right, it's safe. It's safe to move through this moment. It's safe to allow yourself to be seen, to be embraced, to be loved for who you truly are, all that you are. I know we talk about it so much, we say it so much, it can be so easy for it to become, I don't know, kind of cliche feeling. the way that sometimes like be gratitude, right? Like it's like yes, and like, you know, and I think when we do step into those moments, when we do step into those moments where we're really doing the different thing and really letting ourselves be seen in ways that we've been really scared of, like there's nothing like that, and I'm sure, and hopefully you've already had some moments of that, and maybe it would help to remember previous times where you've been through something like this, and if not, and if this is the first time, it is worth it. It's worth what comes along with it, right? Most of the time, sometimes you're like, really, right? But hey, the worth it part, right? Going back to that Two of Wands in reverse in the very beginning, where it was like, I don't know that this is worth it. Doesn't seem worth the bother. Whether that's relating to a dream, a vision, what you're bringing in, a desire, or if it's relating to yourself, right? And it just doesn't seem worth it. It just doesn't seem worth the upheaval. This Tower in reverse suggests that it is. Take it or leave it. Always tune in your own intuition above everything else, right? And only what you're truly ready for. I encourage you to really look at, how can you take those steps forward and allow yourself to maybe get ready to be ready, right? And identifying your safe people, and just exploring that. This isn't about, actually, the card is kind of like a. it is about that. I'm it's confronting it, but also things are delicate and things are tender, and we can allow that. We can allow ourselves to care for ourselves and be gentle with the process as we move through in the ways that we can, and in the ways that we know how. Right. So I could keep going. But the mask can come off, and you get to be you, and you get to be celebrated for it, for all of your wonder and magical and majesty and everything. All right. Okay, friends. Per usual, I had a blast. This was wonderful for me. I hope it was wonderful for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.